For 20 years, the galaxy had known only surrender. Trade lanes once crowded with life drifted empty. Orbital cities burned in silence. Ancient alliances shattered as world after world bent the knee to the Dominion. Species that once boasted fleets powerful enough to darken suns now hid beneath their own oceans and mountains, praying the scanners above would pass them by. Fear had become the one language every civilization understood. The Dominion fed that fear carefully. Every victory was broadcast. Every rebellion was punished in public. Moons were cracked open. Capitals were stripped bare. Survivors were forced to watch the destruction of neighboring systems until resistance felt pointless. Their message never changed: obey now, or vanish later. And Earth was their favorite example. When humanity refused tribute, the Dominion answered with overwhelming force. The battle around Sol lit half the sector for days, then ended in fire. Human fleets were shattered. Their colonies went dark one by one. No distress calls followed. No survivors were found. The galaxy accepted the obvious conclusion: humanity had been erased. Some felt relief. Humans had always been difficult allies, stubborn, loud, impossible to control. Others felt shame. When Earth asked for aid, treaties were delayed, votes postponed, promises rewritten. In the end, no one came. The lesson was clear: courage dies quickly when danger arrives. Now even those who abandoned humanity lived with regret. Resistance cells were collapsing. Supply caches were exposed. Smugglers disappeared. Refugees had nowhere left to run. The Dominion's banners hung over systems that once believed themselves eternal. Then the rumors began. Unmarked vessels moving through dead sectors. Signals inside abandoned relay nets. Fuel depots emptied overnight with no trace of theft. Dominion patrols found drifting wreckage with precision-cut hulls and crews missing. No species claimed responsibility. Most dismissed it as desperation breeding myths. Hope was dangerous. Hope got people killed. Then every major communications array in known space activated at once. No code request. No warning. No source location. Just one channel overriding every screen, every receiver, every emergency band. Static cracked. Then a calm human voice spoke for the first time in 2 decades. "This is not a distress call. This is humanity." The transmission lasted only 12 seconds, yet it shook the galaxy harder than any weapon. Systems that had forgotten the sound of human voices replayed it endlessly. Dominion officials called it a fabrication. Their admirals laughed publicly and doubled patrols. But fear had already changed direction. The answer arrived from the forgotten edges of space. From dead asteroid belts, abandoned mining zones, collapsed shipyards, and regions marked unsafe for navigation, thousands of vessels emerged in coordinated silence. They came from places every empire had ignored because nothing valuable was believed to remain there. Humanity had chosen those ruins carefully. While the galaxy surrendered, humans disappeared where no conqueror bothered to look. They had not spent 20 years mourning. They rebuilt everything. Nations that once competed merged resources. Civilian engineers worked beside veterans. Scientists who survived Earth's fall redesigned propulsion, armor, medicine, and weapons from battlefield failures. Salvaged wrecks became carriers. Cargo hulls became missile barges. Broken stations became factories hidden inside rock and ice. Every loss had been studied. Every weakness had become a lesson. The fleet itself looked scarred rather than elegant. Hulls carried weld marks, layered plating, patched sections, and visible upgrades stacked over older designs. Nothing about it was ceremonial. It was built to endure punishment and keep firing. At its center moved massive command carriers surrounded by drone clouds. Ahead of them traveled stealth frigates with cold signatures. Heavy battleships mounted rail cannons longer than some civilian stations. Support vessels carried medical bays, fabrication decks, and refugee capacity beside ammunition reserves. Humanity had prepared not only to fight, but to reclaim. A new signal spread across occupied systems. No anthem. No speech. No threats. Only a brief instruction from the human command network. Stand clear of enemy targets. The Dominion responded exactly as expected. Certain of superiority, they dispatched a rapid strike armada to erase the intruders before rebellion could spread. Thousands of warships translated into the outer sector and formed attack lines. Human vessels did not retreat. They accelerated directly toward them. Across the galaxy, billions watched in disbelief as the species declared extinct charged the greatest military machine ever assembled. Then the stars themselves began firing. The Dominion expected a desperate charge. Instead, it entered a trap built over 20 years of patience. Human vanguard ships rushed forward, exchanged brief fire, then broke formation and scattered. Dominion admirals ordered pursuit, convinced the enemy line had collapsed. That was the moment space around them ignited. Dormant mines hidden in debris fields erupted with electromagnetic bursts, blinding sensors and crippling shields. Decoy drones copied human engine signatures and drew volleys into empty vacuum. Navigation grids flooded with false coordinates. Entire Dominion wings turned to engage targets that did not exist. Then the railguns opened fire. Human battleships positioned far beyond standard combat range launched tungsten lances at near-light velocity. Command cruisers split apart before alarms finished sounding. Carrier spines were punched clean through. Ships believed safe behind escorts vanished in single flashes of metal and atmosphere. While confusion spread, boarding pods slammed into damaged hulls. Human assault teams cut through corridors, seized reactor controls, and vented weapon decks before defenders understood where the attack had begun. Captured vessels were turned against their own formations within minutes. The Dominion still had numbers, but numbers required coordination. Humanity destroyed coordination first. Across occupied sectors, people looked upward and saw something they had not seen in years: enemy wreckage falling from the sky. Resistance networks activated immediately. Sabotage cells struck fuel depots, prison camps, and relay towers. Garrisons that once ruled through terror suddenly found themselves isolated. Yet humanity's next move shocked everyone more than the battle. Medical ships landed before troop transports. Portable reactors restored darkened cities. Water purifiers, food printers, and trauma teams deployed to worlds humans had never even visited. They treated species that once refused to help Earth exactly the same as their own. Crowds celebrated them as liberators. Others watched with unease. Every operation was efficient. Every target chosen with ruthless precision. Every victory completed faster than predicted. This was not the humanity the galaxy remembered. Suffering had sharpened it into something disciplined and relentless. Within days, 3 Dominion sectors collapsed. For the first time in a generation, the Empire retreated. And many began to wonder whether they had been saved by heroes, or replaced by something far more dangerous. Panic spread faster than any fleet. Worlds that had bowed to the Dominion now rushed to denounce it. Governments that once ignored Earth reopened sealed channels and begged for alliance. Councils that had called humanity reckless now described humans as the galaxy's final hope. Fear had changed sides, and everyone wanted to stand near the winning force. Humanity answered with cold discipline. There were no celebrations, no revenge speeches, no demands for worship. Systems requesting protection received coordinates, supply protocols, and defense assignments. Leaders asking forgiveness were told the war came first. Records of betrayal would be reviewed later. Humanity had not returned to trade pride for survival. That response terrified many more than anger would have. At the Imperial core, the Dominion ruler abandoned propaganda and issued a final directive to every remaining command. If sectors could not be held, they were to be sterilized. Civilian populations, infrastructure, archives, ecosystems, it no longer mattered. The Empire would rather burn the galaxy than lose control of it. The order never reached its destinations. Human cyber divisions intercepted the transmission, verified it, and broadcast it across every public network in known space. Billions heard the command in the ruler's own voice. Neutral powers that had hidden for years entered the war within hours. Merchant guilds opened supply lines. Mercenary houses switched contracts. Prison worlds revolted. Even former Dominion client species turned their guns around. The coalition swelled overnight, but humanity still led every front. Then long-range sensors detected something worse than retreating fleets. The Dominion had gathered its surviving armadas around the core systems, forming the largest concentration of warships in recorded history. It was a fortress of desperation built for one final battle. Many believed humanity had overextended itself. Then hidden jump signatures appeared beyond coalition space. A second human reserve fleet emerged from deep black sectors no map acknowledged. Fresh carriers, siege platforms, logistics trains, and untouched battleships slid into formation. Humanity had fought the first campaign with only part of its strength. A final message was sent to every allied world. We did not return for revenge. We returned so no one lives in fear again. Thousands of human ships advanced toward the core. The Empire had awakened humanity. Now it would face what it created,